Hello, and welcome back to Hope Bombs. Awesome day here out in the Jersey Shore. If you are listening from somewhere else in the world, I hope you're having as beautiful a day. Listen, it's hot, it's a little humid, but listen, we're alive, and we have a chance. We have a choice today to live our best lives, to live our dreams, and to be happy. It is a choice, despite sometimes how chaotic it could be. If we have a good attitude, a good perspective, and if we're willing to change and grow and to persevere, we're in for an awesome day. Welcome to Hope Bombs. My name is John Bagnato, and today, super simple episode. I'm going to break this episode down into kind of multiple parts because what I have today is it's an awesome book. I was just browsing Barnes & Nobles one day. I had to pick something up. Because sometimes I just like to have, that hard copy book. Sometimes I like to go into a store, especially a bookstore. Someone who is a writer, someone who loves to write, someone who loves to read, going into a bookstore is like just awesome. And I was just kind of browsing, just walking around, and I came across this book. And I picked it up. Listen, if you don't realize that when you go into a store, whatever store, a supermarket, if you go into a toy store, I don't know, 7-Eleven, a liquor store. The way that marketing and advertisement does it, people pay, right? Companies pay to get things displayed, right? So whether your book is facing this way often or facing this way is a product of marketing, is a product of someone paying, right? Some company, and in this case, I'll go to that book, but in this case, whatever this publishing house is, working out a deal with Barnes & Noble's, paying them to put that book there. So when you walk through the Barnes & Noble store, or when you walk through the supermarket and you see something, you're like, oh my God, look at that. And you pick it up. That's why. Marketing and advertising, strategic analysis of where you're at. But look, that's not what Hope Bombs is about. I'm getting sidetracked. But I think it's important to know how things affect us, how advertisements affect us, right? How specific targeting me, right? Look, we all have social media. And if you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not even going to broach that topic. But if you have a social media, look, I'm on all of it. You're probably watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, Apple Music, or Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or whatever else, I'm on all these mediums, right? You can catch me, posting nonsense, not nonsense, but I try to repost good content, hope-related content on Twitter, and the same thing. I have a blast on my Instagram creating, awesome art and pictures and fun and memes and whatever. The point is, like I said in one of my episodes, I don't know where you are on the path, you put in what you get out. And wherever you go, if you're looking for negativity on social media, you're gonna find it. So like for instance, if you're looking to hook up, a cheap hookup, if you're looking to go on all these fancy dating sites and meet some questionable person, because I don't like to despair anybody, you're gonna find that. But if you're really putting your hard energy into meeting someone, a sincere relationship, there's odds that you're going to find that as well. The internet gives us the opportunity to connect with people that we might not have connected with otherwise. It also gives people voice. It gives people the opportunity to express themselves, right? I had an argument one day, and I don't like to say argument, it was a discussion. And I cherish when someone counters my belief. If I share something in one of these things that you disagree with, I ask you to send me feedback, right? In a nice way. Right? Because the way we talk to people matters. So I posted something. I posted a meme about the heart emoji, right? The heart emoji, and I said that it was a joke about if you text someone, if you text your partner that you love them, and then they respond with just the red heart emoji that they don't really love you. That's the meme. It was something along those lines. I posted the meme, and a bunch of people commented on it. Some people, yay, they agreed. Some people were like, nah, they don't agree. But one particular person, one of my old clients who I love dearly, I'm not going to mention their name. They moved out to Seattle, and I miss them very much. And they had messaged me very nicely, and they had expressed, not everybody can vocalize things. Not everybody can vocalize how they feel. Not everybody can express how they feel. The internet, emojis, and different mediums give people that might have a hard time expressing something gives them a voice. Sometimes people who can't talk one-on-one or have a hard time in interpersonal relationships, social media and these things gives them an opportunity. So when we put down, all these social medias, we have to sometimes pause. And we have to sometimes think of the bigger picture and think about how that connecting on a meaningful level works for us. We live in a time that I can meet and connect with people all over the world to share ideas, information, growth. Our world today was built on the interconnectivity of many people creating massive things. It's not one singular mind. Right? We all add to the equation. You listening to my podcast, me creating this podcast, all adds to the equation of that idea of that pop psychology, pop philosophy, pop culture, pop arts. All right. So the point is that when we connect, when you give me feedback, both positive and negative, but if it is negative, it can't be disparaging. You can't put people down for their thoughts anymore. We're done with that. Right? If someone thinks differently than you, right? Look, we've learned from the war in Iraq and the war overseas, and the countless amount of religious wars that have taken place globally, right? The violence, this has got to stop. The vitriol, the hate, the disparagement, we have to start to disagree with people civilly. And then, if we have a belief that's counter to that belief, we have to handle it appropriately. And if you really want to enact change, like many people say, I don't even want to say just get out and vote. I don't think getting out and vote, if voting is enough anymore. Right? Do I think causing more chaos and violence is no. But voicing in a positive manner, when we can start to talk to each other constructively, things change. Hence, adulting. All right, so going back to, I was walking through Barnes and Nobles, and I had just kind of, I think Maslow's hierarchy, the drawings. I don't know if the author Kelly Williams Brown drew some of the stuff in this, but it's fantastic. It's a fantastic book. Clearly, I own the updated version, right? Adulting: How to Become a Grown-Up in 468, crossed it out, 538 easy-ish steps. I'm going to see if you can see that. All right. Awesome. She got a little cat, right? I don't want to say, I don't know what their pronouns are, but I'd like to respect it, and excuse me if I don't do the correct pronouns. But they have a phenomenal book. And you know what I just noticed? I didn't even read J.J. Abrams, a film director that I admire so much, actually. Get this book and grow up. So if you don't know who J.J. Abrams is, I don't know where you've been living, but there's a show out there called Lost that, well, might be a little dated, and I might be a little dated myself, but what an amazing television show that spanned so many years. J.J. Abrams did it, many things. I didn't even know he wrote that. But here's the thing, Kelly Williams Brown. So, I opened this book, and, I was talking to someone on social media the other day about listicles, right? They had this negative, it was some best-selling writer, actually, that I had a little conversation with about writing. He posted on Medium, which is which is a platform for writers. So if you're not sure of what Medium is, please. Medium is an awesome app, a brilliant app that features some absolutely astronomically well-curated pieces of writing direct from the people writing them. And the best part about it is you're supporting those writers because Medium pays us to read our articles. You read my article, I get paid. That's simple. So when you talk about supporting people that you like, there's ways out there. Plus, it's amazing. You have great content. Anything from automotive to science to pop culture to self-help. Brilliant stuff. So I'm talking about this guy. He's a writer. He put a little article about listicles. Medium, to a fault, has a lot of lists, but I like lists. Lists are simple for me. I was a Marine. Sometimes I like to be told what to do. I don't want to think, right? I personal trained for years, even yoga. You come to my yoga class, you come to one of my boot camp class, really think about it, you're getting an hour where you're not thinking, right? And any time you're outside of your head is truly an amazing thing because you don't have to worry about your life. You don't worry about hopefully, when you're listening to this, yes, I hope my podcasts bring some feelings into your life. I hope that you do connect with some of the things that I'm saying and you relate, and it makes you to dive deeper and come and connect with yourself more. I hope that happens, right? I hope that you learn something and you take a little piece of hope and you take it outside in your normal life. And you bring that hope to your friends, to your family, to your children, to your spouses, to your jobs, and then you leave and you create a better world. it's very hard with the duress that we are under. And I say many Americans, we're caught up in the rat race. I talked about one of my older books. I talked about the monk who sold his Ferrari. One of my book reports, the monk who sold his Ferrari. And we talk about finding your happiness and pursuing a life of purpose, right? Pursuing a life of purpose. So, when we kind of dive into ourselves and we listen to podcasts and we read things, we kind of, it sparks ideas in our mind, right? But there's also times, right, where you're watching television and you don't want to think. You're just like, oh man, my life is already crazy and I don't want to think. So, back to adulting, right? I cannot say, as I said, this podcast is not about book reviews. It's not as much as I'm going to review movies and books and pop culture and psychology and philosophy, and food. And who the hell doesn't like food? But, there are things that if we don't read these things or talk about them, and as I said, I support these writers as I'm buying this book, right? There are other ways to support writers, because a lot of the money that buying this book, really, if you don't know, when you buy this hard copy book, the writer doesn't get a ton of money. And that's okay, right? They are making it in other ways, right? So picking up the hard copy is important, right? Because once again, man, it's supporting things you like. All right. One of my buddies, he's a very adamant pirater, right? He does not pay for any movies. Now, I don't agree with that. I mean, to me, stealing is stealing, and I don't agree with that. So I don't condone it. I love the guy anyway because what he does with his life is his. And I know many, 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 many people that do this. But once again, if we go back to, the 8 limbs of yoga, if we go back to meditation, living a spiritually sound life, right, we can't hope for the best if we're not living our best. Right? We can't, something they told me in the Marines is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Some people take that as a negative thing, but it's not. It's not. It's actually a very empowering thing. It's about identifying all the possible scenarios, all the possible situations, everything that could happen, right, that you can perceive of, setting yourself up so that you're not dwelling on those things, because dwelling on stuff that is not supposed to happen. You don't know the future. You're not a time traveler. I'm not a time traveler. So my point is, we're not time travelers. We don't know what's going to go on in the future. But that doesn't mean we can't take a level of precaution to kind of just identify possible pitfalls that we can incur through daily living. Because that happens, right? Life doesn't always go as planned. You know that, I know that. I don't need a podcast to tell you that life doesn't always go as planned. But when we kind of understand that whatever we're undertaking may have negative consequences, right? It's a start. Not every action we do is perfect. I certainly haven't lived a perfect life. But I'm getting better because the hope is we can get better. And that's what we're trying to do. So when we look at books like adulting, there's a lot of things you always hear all the time. Why doesn't school teach you about your taxes? Schools teach us about all this stuff and they don't teach us the important stuff in life. And you know what? You're right. You're right. Listen, I barely can add, and I have a degree. I have a very professional career in my math skills. If you put a division table in front of me, I'm screwed. If you were like, you got to do this basic division. If you can't, you're going to die. Well, then you might as well say goodbye to me because I can't. Now, can't, I just use that word, and I don't want to go off onto that yet. That'll be another podcast. But I know I like to substitute instead of can't, unable at the moment, because I guarantee you, if I sit down with my computer, with Khan Academy, with YouTube, with any of the mediums out there, I guarantee you if I wanted to learn a long division, I can. You with me? So, Adulting is a great book. And when I tell you, listen, this person is out of control. This is one of those books you have to have in your house. Whether you're an adult, whether you're a high school, college, what it sets you up, the contents, right, of how, look, they talk about something that I just discovered this year, how expensive spices are. They talk about how to set up your kitchen, right? The things that you need in your kitchen. They made a joke about how much spices cost. And if you don't know, this friggin' spices are expensive. My chicken's going to be bland as hell because affording some of the spices, it's like, holy cow. But look, I'm going to go down. I'm not going to go over everything in this book right now because it's just too much and it's awesome and I want you to read it. I just want to go over the table of contents just to set you up. Like, look, the first chapter talks about getting your mind right. Domesticity, cooking, fake it till you make it, get a job, money, maintenance, friends and neighbors, love, times were tough, families, and conclusion. So pretty much the whole gamut of everything that you can kind of be going through in life, they kind of go through. And if you notice, I keep saying she, and then I go to they. And what I'm asking everybody and all my friends in the LGBTQ communities, give people time. We, and most of us, I can say, says all of us, care about your pronouns and care about how you identify. And it's just going to be that process of flipping that switch, right? I'm so used to saying things a certain way. And identifying people with their proper use of their pronouns is so important because it matters to you. And if it matters to you, it matters to me because that's who you are. So excuse me if I ever slip, but so I'm just going to refer to Kelly as Kelly for the moment. And I'm going to just kind of go over something that they said in the first chapter that I loved. It was just I was super into it. And it's really funny because it's kind of true. And the first step this is the first step, I'll leave you this, first step out of 500 steps. And Kelly says, step 1, accept that you are not special. Accept that you are not special, right? Wow, what a concept. I grew up in a family, you are special, listen. If we're all so special, well, then that would pretty much make us the same, right? We're all unique. The bottom line is, are we all special? We're all here. We're all alive. We all have different takes and views, and we all have different emotions, and we all have different upbringings and family values and places. But are we these unique wallflowers? We're kind of all human. Last time I checked, we're mammals. I mean, that's what I think about. I don't look at anybody as anything else other than a mammal. You're a human. I don't care if you're binary. I don't care if you're a girl. I don't care if you're a guy. You're just a mammal, right? You're a human being, right? You live, you exist, you breathe, you eat, you pee, you crap, you drink water. You're human, right? Are we individuals? Sure, we're individuals, right? Do we have our own minds? Well, our minds are filtered. Our minds are just the things that we've taken in. So if you have no experience, if you're from another culture and you've never heard of a binary neutral person, does that make you dumb? No. I mean, it doesn't. You can't judge that. If you don't agree with it, does that make you a hater? No, you just don't agree with it. Right? Hate is hate no matter what. Right? Ignorance is ignorance, and we don't really know, depending upon your accessibility, your access to things is important. If you don't have access to information, if you don't have access, it's very, very hard. I always go back to Iraq because I think about these people that were living in these houses. It was a part of a bunch of missions out there, and these people had no water, right? They had no electricity, and they lived. I saw a kid kicking around a goat's head as a soccer ball. So, thinking about them, I saw moms, and I saw dads, and I saw people trying to live their life. Can I think less of them because they were born in that part of the world? Yeah, absolutely not. No. So, how special are we? Right? How special are we? Well, look. Do I think that I'm special? I don't think so. I think I'm human. I think I'm on a path of life. I think we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey to live. And I think when we can understand and accept, like Kelly says in the first step, that we're not special, and Kelly doesn't mean it in a negative way. Because you continue to read the book, and Kelly goes on about more of what she means. But in a short episode here, I'm obviously not going to read you the book because then it would be stealing. Right? I'm here to showcase my thoughts, and I'm here to showcase positive, loving, caring people that are contributing to society in a positive way. That's what I like. I like to connect with people who are doing good stuff, who are trying to put out helpful things like adulting. Because guess what? If I had this book when I was 20, there's a lot of stuff in here that I might know now. Not everything in this book I don't know. I know a lot of this stuff, and I've heard it or read it, and it's great. But if I had this when I was 20, man, what an eye-opener, right? What an eye-opener, right? Toilet paper, man. Toilet paper. Look, the toilet paper crisis of 2020. Let me tell you this. One day, you grow up, most of us have never worried about toilet paper in our life. It was always just magically appeared. And then all of a sudden, we're out on our own. We have our own house. We have our own place. And then we're like stuck. We're like, ooh, wait a minute. Forgot to buy toilet paper. I'm pretty sure everybody can identify with that for the most part. Right? Maybe not Brazilians, because as much as I love Brazil, been there, they use a little hose, which, and as much as I love Italy, I'm from Italy, they use bidets. Hey, great. Those nozzles, I mean, I happen to like my toilet paper. I mean, it is what it is. But Kelly, my friend Kelly, talks about that in this book. And it's a gentle reminder. And that's why I think it's important to have in every household. So as I said, my book report for the day, and I'm going to go back into this book many times because out of the 535 things, and I hope Kelly keeps updating it. And I really think, Kelly, if you're listening to this, hey, add some things for social media. I think the context of how to be an adult on social media is important. How to be responsible, the etiquette on social media is important. I always think to myself, social media, we can be truly anonymous. We can be completely anonymous. We can make fake names. We can do anything we want. Now, my name across everything is plastered. John, Jon, and then Bagnato. Bag, B-A-G, and then NATO, N-A-T-O. Bagnato, right? It's simple. JohnBagnato.com is my webpage. Let's connect. The point is that we can hide behind social media. And let's go with that for a second before we end. If you can hide, if you can be anyone you want on social media, right? If no one knows who you are on social media, right? And you choose to be a jerk, what the hell does that say about you? Right? If you know what I mean, you're behind a fake avatar, right? You're behind a fake screen name. People have to listen. Our information's out there, but people have to dig to get some of this stuff. And who the hell? No one's going to do that. You're just a name, right? What are they saying? The Avengers Endgame, Noobmaster 69, Thor. If you haven't watched that movie, it's phenomenal. Pop culture here. Thor makes a reference to Fortnite, which is an incredibly popular game that I've never played because I'm an adult and I love video games. It's just a little bit not for me. Needless to say, he gets on and there was a troll, is what they call him, if you're not familiar with that. A troll, someone who is online causing agitation. This is basically someone online trying to start a fight with someone to get them riled up, to get them emotional, to get them they're raw, and then they get angry, right? So Thor goes on, he gets on the headset, and he goes, Noobmaster 69, I'm going to come to your mom's basement, and I'm going to shove a lightning bolt up your arse, right? My point is that Noobmaster is a fake name. No one knows who you are. And if you could be anyone, why not be loving and caring? It takes just as much effort to be a jerk as it does to put out something nice. Right? Look, they said it in Bambi, man. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's not shared enough anymore. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And check this out. If someone is doing something that is wrong, if you can't talk to them in a positive manner, in a nice manner, you're actually enabling them for more chaos. You're actually causing more chaos by bringing your anger to their anger. So if you know what I mean, so the hope is that when we start to understand that we're not all these unique wallflowers, and that we have, listen, if the very least our emotions connect, meaning the feelings of kindness, or not kindness, the feelings of sadness, depression, anxiety, listen, those are fairly universal feelings, right? Any doctor will tell you, anxiety is anxiety, depression is depression, fear is fear, sadness is sadness, hope is hope, happiness, happiness. All those things, they're universal. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. If I was in Iraq and I saw that kid kicking that goat's head as a soccer ball and he was smiling with his friends, it's a goat's head, my man. Right? Listen, they were happy. I didn't need to see anything beyond that. Right? If we start to connect with feelings and realize that our feelings are universal, right? And guess what? Hatred is universal too. Hate is hate. I don't care if you believe your hate is virtuous, it's hate. No such thing as virtuous hate. Sorry to break it to you. That's a hope bomb drop right there. No such thing as virtuous hate. But look, we're wrapping up here. I'm going to go into this once again. Kelly Williams Brown, Adulting. Please check it out. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal book. Awesome. How to become a grown-up, right? And I'm still working on it. Every day is progress. Every day is growth. Every day is a new opportunity to change, to be better, to be stronger, to take the person. The only competition you have is from the person you were yesterday. Check that out. The only competition that you have in life, the only person you ever have to be better than is the person that you were yesterday. People compare, they judge, they try to be better than everybody else, or they look to other people. How do I be? Listen, stop. Enough. Put the focus on yourself. The only person you have to be better than is the person that you were yesterday. And how do we do that? By doing something nice for someone today and not telling anybody you did it. Get out there, smile, hold the door open, be nice, pick your head up, put on a smile. Yes, dudes, put on a smile. You don't have to look tough all the time, right? For years, guys are always like, ladies, you look so much prettier if you smile. Dude, first of all, don't say that. It's none of your business what they do. It's wrong. But you can put on a smile, and then maybe if you're smiling, maybe other people would smile back. It's a novel idea. Sometimes I'm a big dude covered in tattoos, bearded, hat. I could look kind of intimidating sometimes, right? If I'm out there with my head up, smiling, right? Just living my life, minding my business, I look less of a threat. So guys, take consideration not to be so bullheaded sometimes, right? So get out there, do something nice for someone, don't tell anyone you did it, live your best life, and really take a look at who you were yesterday and say, what can I do today, one thing better to be better than that? Guys, thank you again for subscribing, for listening, to enjoying my podcast. If no one told you they love you today, I love you. I'll see you back next time on Hope Bombs. Thank you for listening to Hope Bombs. Please, before you leave this page today, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, a little red heart. Let's connect. If you want more of Hope Bombs and me, your host, John Bagnato, follow me on Instagram at Johnny Diehard, Twitter at John Bagnato, and most importantly, join my mailing list at johnbagnato.com for all new information. And lastly, I'm going to leave you on this note. Here's Satellites and Chemicals by Stealing Rome. Grab the wheel as we spin around. These satellites and these chemicals, the lights are on and you're beautiful. Life is tough and it puts you down. Grab the wheel as we spin around. These satellites and these chemicals.